And we're live. Let's go. Welcome to episode 41 of the Stack and Shed podcast. Back in a different setup. Hopefully, I'm not too loud. Um, I'll try not to be. But week 4 is in the books. Not a good week for our teams. Probably going to be saying that a lot this season. But what can you do? Surprisingly enough, we had a good Thursday night game. We're actually going to get most likely 2 good Thursday night games in a row. I think that's an NFL record for the most consecutive.
Probably.
Because last week you had actually a surprisingly good matchup, Cincinnati and Jacksonville. Surprising and, well, they're both bad and it was somehow good. And this week you get Seahawks, who are trying to avoid 2-3, and you get the Rams, who are 3-1. Pretty good. So let's jump into the Jacksonville Cincinnati game because this has some of the most controversy around it, which is kind of funny. So I think the funniest part about Jacksonville is that they lost the game is like the thing that didn't matter this week. Everyone's going to talk about the Urban Meyer thing. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of funny and kind of not. It's serious but funny, and it's kind of both. The serious side is, let's just go over the funny part. First of all, Urban Meyer's a freak. I think we can agree with that. But it's serious because Jacksonville is in such a just bad situation right now. They're cold. The locker room doesn't believe in Urban Meyer. They probably never did, but now it's really confirmed that they just don't believe in him. And so you have that, and then you also have Urban Meyer. I don't know if you saw his press conference on Monday. After all the videos had surfaced, it was like almost like 48 hours after the video surfaced. So he had 48 hours to write a really good apology / get back to football press conference. And he like when you would get scolded when you were young and you would just kind of like do this. You would you'd look at your shoelaces and you would kind of like avoid eye contact. He did that the whole press conference.
Nope. If you want up on your climber, just get up on your climber. Don't go around stepping on my keyboard trying to get up on your climber.
He's just trying to get on the climber, man. So his apology sucked. The locker room doesn't care. And it's going to be another, 1-win season for Jacksonville. And that may be lucky. It's bad. It's really bad for Jacksonville. I don't know what they were thinking with the hire, personally. But
Me neither. Even at the time of hiring.
No, I mean...
At this point, I'd rather have Hugh Jackson as my head coach than Urban Meyer. And that's saying something.
Yeah. At least with Hugh Jackson, you're getting, someone who's going to try to keep the locker room. I mean, even through the Browns' 2 seasons, he never really lost the locker room. They were just really bad. But they still believed in Hugh Jackson. That was the difference. And that's why they kept him on for that 3rd season until, 6 games in. So, I don't know. I didn't understand the Urban Meyer because he's not a good culture fit because he's not really the most upstanding person. And he's not a very offensive or defensive-minded guy anymore because his play calling is really stuck in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. He's not a culture guy. He's not an X's and O's guy, and he's definitely not a team builder. So what does he have going for him?
And then in his drafting was also bad because he took Travis Etienne and then also said, well, I really wanted Kadarius Toney, which you don't say because that's kind of a thing of respect. You don't just say I didn't want the guy I drafted in the 1st round. You don't do that. So it's just been a clown show for Jacksonville. I feel bad because I like the talent. I think they're a better team than their record suggests. It's just
I would agree.
It sucks because there's so much talent that is just not being utilized correctly. Laviska Shenault, prime example. So it sucks. Jacksonville is going to be a basement team for the next few years at this rate.
Pretty much. At least they got a good opportunity for this next upcoming season when they hopefully fire Urban Meyer. That they have some good head coaching candidates still because you still got Joe Brady. You still got Bieniemy, and there's one more I keep forgetting about. There's one more good.
DeBall is normally one that's thrown around a lot. So I agree.
Yeah, DeBall. Yeah.
DeBall. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Plus, you're going to probably have a few stud defensive coordinators that come out at the end of this year that really have defense on fire. Todd Bowles, with what he's done in Tampa Bay with the lack of corners, really needs a lot more addressing and a lot more praise because he's been putting back free agent corners, and they're holding teams to
I know that feeling.
So,
the Broncos know that feeling.
So I think that's definitely something. Todd Bowles should be one of the dark horse coaching candidates this year. So let's get away from Jacksonville because we could talk about Urban Meyer and Jacksonville a whole episode, and we could take a whole episode to do that ourselves. We're not going to.
No,
it's been talked about enough.
I get way too heated about that.
It's bad. I would say Urban Meyer will not be the coach by like week 14. That would be my guess is week 14, 15.
I don't see how he's still the coach now, honestly.
I don't know, personally. All right, Washington and Atlanta. Atlanta lost again. I feel bad for them almost. Not really.
They had a 90% chance of winning this game in the fourth quarter.
They won it on like not a Hail Mary, but I don't know what you would call that play. It wasn't even a good play. It was Heineke rolled out left, and the running back who was blocking just had like a little squeeze route, and they were like, he just caught it, and everyone on Atlanta's defense just fell down. It was awful. It was like one of those Madden touchdowns you'd get where everyone just like dives and they just miss you. It was kind of like that.
Yep. I'm so thankful I haven't played Madden.
Me neither. I have a question for you because I think we might differ on this. Do you think Heineke should be the starting quarterback in Washington?
Yes.
Okay, good.
The locker room obviously buys into Heineke.
Yeah.
Heineke's been playing clutch. There's really no reason for you to change. It's been the defense that's been the problem. I don't know why you wouldn't stick with Heineke.
Yeah, I think Heineke's really shown that he has the ability to lead the locker room. He's not the most talented quarterback, obviously, because he would have been in the league a lot more. But I definitely think when you have the pieces that Washington has on offense, the improved offensive line has really been something that no one's talked about. The offensive line has been great. I think that combined with those things, I think Heineke's just a better fit for the future and now. I feel bad for Fitzpatrick, but he'll get another contract because it's Fitzpatrick. But
yeah, it's Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
you'll find a team that he hasn't played for yet somehow.
And also, Terry McLaurin is proving to be like my worst pre-draft analysis ever. I was completely so low on McLaurin. I thought he was like a 6th-round talent. I didn't believe in McLaurin at all, and he's just a top 5 receiver in the game now. So proves how much I know.
My boy.
There's no receipts of that though, so you can't prove it besides me saying it. But yeah, it's bad. You know what's even worse though?
What?
Houston.
Yeah, Houston's pretty bad. Yeah, I still don't know how they won a game.
Tyrod Taylor is how. Listen, they dominated week 1, and in the first half against the Browns, they were up like 14-0. And then Tyrod tore his hamstring or whatever, and they have just been abysmal ever since Davis Mills took the field. I hate to say it, because Davis Mills obviously was never ready for day 1 start. He was never ready for a year 1 or 2 start. So I kind of feel bad for putting the blame on him. It's not really his fault that he just got thrust into this situation, but he is going to be the fall guy for this, no matter what.
Yeah, the quarterback's always the fall guy.
He's going to be a Peterman,
for the most part,
a Nathan Peterman type guy, where he got put into a really bad situation, stunk it up, and he's never going to get another chance because of it. Sucks, but yeah, he's definitely the scapegoat.
I'm still upset that Davis Mills threw 4 interceptions against the Buffalo defense. Not a single one went to Tre'Davious White.
That's because Tremaine Edmonds is a ball hawking linebacker. Yeah. The thing with Buffalo, and it's really concerning, is their inconsistency has been awful. They lost to Pittsburgh week 1 somehow. I don't understand. But then they've blown out, Miami and Houston. So they either look really good or really bad. That's my thing with Buffalo. They're a lot more inconsistent than last year, and I don't know how that's going to translate to when they have to beat the better teams. Not in the AFC East, because everyone in the AFC East is trash right now. But just in general, I don't know how that's going to work. So,
I mean, at least someone from the AFC East other than Buffalo won this week.
Should have been 2 teams. But we'll get to that later because that's a whole rant in and of itself. So yeah, I mean, in conclusion, I mean, I don't even. It's. I feel bad for Houston because it's almost kind of like with the Jets last year when we were doing these episodes, and we just trashed on the Jets for like 3 minutes each week, and I almost started feeling bad near the end of the season. It's like that. I don't even know what to say about Houston because they're just that bad. Um, the only difference is they got a week 1 win against an even worse team, and that's it.
Yeah, and it took the Jets like what 10 weeks to finally get a win or something like that.
I thought it was like 13. I thought they were
It,
like,
it was it was it was in the back half of the
yeah, it
season.
was really people were starting the 0-17 or 0-16 talks. Uh,
Yeah,
I remember that. Um, so yeah, Buffalo beat Houston. I mean, I guess no one was shocked by that, but oh, Chicago and Detroit. You
this
know,
was not a good game.
I don't say this often, but I sincerely think that Detroit and Chicago, or just the NFC North in general, is one of the worst divisions of football this year. Green Bay is good. Whooped. Minnesota's inconsistent and just bad. Detroit is horrid. The Dan Campbell experience is not good right now. It's bad. And the Chicago is it took them 5 weeks to figure out that they should play their first round quarterback. Um, but then they're playing him
And that
behind the worst offensive line we've ever seen in the league in the last few years.
and they're still not utilizing his skills to his benefit either.
And even this week, Matt Nagy gave up his play calling. Everyone's like, well, yay. But it was against Detroit, and you put up 24 points, and most of it is from a running back who's now injured.
Yep.
David Montgomery, who I think is out for like 6 weeks. So Chicago, it's annoying because Fields is going to go out there.
Julio Herbert time.
Fields is going to go out there. He's behind the worst offensive line in football. He's going to be missing his lead back. Yeah, he's got Allen Robinson, but he doesn't have time to get to Allen Robinson. That's
Yeah,
gonna
you
be,
got Robinson and Mooney, and that's pretty much it. That's all you got.
so yeah, it's kind of bittersweet for Fields. He's going to need a lot to really succeed. I hope he doesn't get injured. I hope nobody gets injured, but I'm really hoping Fields survives behind that offensive line because I honestly think it's worse than the Jets' offensive line, and the Jets' offensive line is atrocious. So NFC North is just
Only Fields was with the franchise he's supposed to be with, and not in Chicago. We wouldn't have this conversation about Fields.
yikes. Yeah. Also, the Dan Campbell situation. I'm going to talk about this real quick. I was huge on Campbell, and I still kind of am.
Nope.
I like the dude. His coaching philosophy is it's like he's playing Madden. He went for it like
It's
on
like that.
fourth.
Have you seen the
Good.
the video of like that? This is the high school coach that never punts and stuff like that.
The difference is you can get away with that when you're good. Okay, like if Kansas City decided we don't ever want to punt again, I don't think a lot of people would be like, well, that makes sense. You know,
And Kansas City is only 2-2, so
that's because their defense sucks. Um, but like, you can't be 0-3 and be like, okay, fourth and like 8, let's go for it. You can't do that because it just doesn't work. Yeah, Dan Campbell experience is pretty rough. It's going to take a lot. I don't know if they're going to be patient enough. I know the Ford family is pretty patient when it comes to rebuilds, but it's going to take some patience for this. Did you watch the Dallas Carolina game? Because I wasn't able to, which sucks.
no, I didn't.
Okay.
I did not watch the Dallas Carolina game.
Well, Trevon Diggs is good. Nobody expected this. I don't think. Even Cowboys fans that are saying they expected the Trayvon Diggs is lying. I don't know where this came from. He's a ball hawk. He's already up there with like JC and is Xavier Howard in terms of the best ball skills in the league. Teams need to stop throwing his way. I don't know when teams are going to realize that he's good, but you got to figure it out eventually. I think he had he had another couple picks. He has like 5 picks in 4 games, something like that.
I don't know.
That's stupid. Anyway, so that's the only thing I really know about the game. I know that Carolina got Stephon Gilmore. We'll talk about the Gilmore situation a lot more later. Anyway.
I didn't even know that happened. It just kind of happened. I'm like, oh, okay.
Man. Anyway, I was having such a good day yesterday, and then, but yeah, I've been impressed with Darnold, man. I haven't really done much film breakdown this season. I've been really busy. But I have a feeling when I do delve into the tape this season that Darnold's going to be one of my favorite players to watch. Joe Brady is proving that he's legit. I don't think there's any more doubts about Joe Brady anymore.
I think it just proves how unlegit Adam Gase is and should never be allowed near a football team again.
Yeah. I'd be fine with that. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. Adam Gase, where's he coaching right now? Is he even coaching?
I don't think he is.
Oh.
I can look it up though.
Yeah, because I'm like 90% sure he signed with the college team. I just don't know which one. And if there is one, then I don't know. That bothers me because I know that he probably is somewhere, but I just don't know where.
No.
No?
Nope.
I can't blame a team. I can't blame a team for not giving him a shot, I'll be honest. But yeah, Darnold's been good.
Wait. Former Jets coach Adam Gase accepts job as offensive coordinator of local high school team. June 30th.
Well,
that's a fall.
Hey, man. He's probably getting paid a buttload of money to do that, too, I bet. Knowing some high schools are...
Mississippi.
Oh, my God.
Ypsilanti, or however that's pronounced.
I've never seen it. Anyway, sorry. Well, my state is kind of wild. Anyway, so that poor Adam Gase, man, he's just a lolcow at this point.
I mean, he kind of did that to himself, to be fair.
Ever since the Crazy Eye press conference, I just knew. Oh boy.
Still reminds me. It still makes me laugh to think of that, Bleacher Report Gridiron Heights thing, where it's Peyton Manning going, "I created Adam Gase."
Dude, oh my God, yeah, he was on the staff of Gary Kubiak, right?
He was the quarterbacks coach in 2013 for Peyton Manning.
God, if you ever feel useless, just imagine being a quarterback coach to like Peyton Manning or Brady or like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
That's got to be like so annoying, because what are you gonna tell Drew Brees that he doesn't already know? That's just got to be frustrating. Anyway, okay, I guess we could talk about Miami and how bad they are. Man,
Enough said.
Miami's fall sucks, dude, because Miami was a good team, and they have the building block of a good team. It's just they're missing one thing, and that's a quarterback. Tua, I love Tua. I think he's a good quarterback when healthy. I still think that hip injury from 2019 is weighing on his mind a lot. Now, it's not something you can prove, so it's just speculations. Take it with what you want. But I don't know if you've noticed, but when Tua was in college, he was the best at when he would get out of the pocket and he would improvise. But now in the NFL level, it just doesn't look like he has that anymore. I don't know if that's just me, but his arm strength, I don't think, is the issue. He has like the same arm strength he had in college. It was never elite, but it was good. And he never really had the best decision making, but he was always good at improvising. It just seems like he lost that last thing he was really good at. And then you have Brissett, who I love Brissett, but he's not a starter. And Miami is just suffering from the lack of a real leader in that locker room. And it sucks because the team is talented. I know I shouldn't be saying that as a Patriots fan. I should want them to be bad, but I really want a team with that much talent to play well, and they just aren't.
I know how that feels.
I know you do. Trust me. I know how I feel now, but I digress. I keep wanting to get to the New England rant. I can't. So, yeah, and then Indy, yeah, they won. They were just kind of there. Indy's Indy. I don't
Yeah.
trust Indianapolis. I trust Wentz. I trust Reich. I don't trust the injuries, and I don't trust the way they've played defense, mainly. That's been my biggest issue.
I don't trust anyone in the AFC South
The
at
Titans,
all.
the best team in the AFC South, lost to the Jets. That's atrocious. I'm sorry. I'm thinking like there's a real possibility it could be like a 7-9 4 seed again, which is stupid.
That'd be disgusting.
That's when I want the playoff format to just be the best teams. You know? Screw division winners, it's just best teams, man. It's simple.
Yeah.
I've always hated that, and it never made sense to me. You don't see that in basketball, where like you just don't see that. It's stupid. Anyway, digress.
And you only see it in college football when it's the AP being extremely biased to Notre Dame for no reason.
You can't even do that anymore since they lost to Cincinnati. Cincinnati.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
Cincinnati, please make the playoffs, please. Just please. There's not going to be an ACC team in there because Clemson sucks. And the rest of the ACC is awful. The ACC is almost at this point worse than like some of the non-power fives. Anyway,
Yeah.
we could go off on the college. College football has been insane this year. Of course, my team sucks, so
I can't say the same.
I wish.
Both teams undefeated.
So
Both teams top 10.
I wish. Anyway, Cleveland. This is another game I didn't get to watch because frankly I didn't care enough about it. I know this is my Super Bowl team and that I put money on, but I just don't care. Cleveland and Minnesota. They barely beat Minnesota. That's a concern for me. I know Baker has a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder. That's causing him apparently some discomfort in his throwing motion. But, I mean, come on, man. Minnesota? Really? At least the Browns improved the defense, which was their biggest concern last year. I'm just saying, my draft crush is killing it. That's all I got to say. JOK is a monster. I think he's the highest graded linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, on PFF.
Not sure.
I'm like 80% sure he's like the highest rated linebacker. And that's where PFF is really stingy on. Like, Judon isn't even like in the 70s, which is stupid. Anyway. Yeah.
I'm just saying I watched no games from this week.
That's tough.
Except for the Broncos game and bits and pieces of a few others just because I was extremely busy with church stuff.
I watched Red Zone, but I had homework, so I didn't get to really do much. Yeah, so Cleveland won. Hey, man, I put $50 on Cleveland. I need them to win the Super Bowl. Please win the Super Bowl because I want my money back. Giants and New Orleans.
You would have it if you never bet it in the first place.
Yeah, but it could be it was 12-1 odds. I couldn't do it. It's funny. Quick story. Quick side note. I actually went to make the Super Bowl bet at the casino, and I walked up to the teller, and he looks at me. He's like, "Oh, what do you want to bet on?" I said, "I want to put $50 on the Browns to win the Super Bowl." Well, I was wearing my Patriots stuff, so he looked at me. He looked at my shirt. He looked at my hat. Tilted his head. He said, "The Browns?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he just shook his head and put the $50 in. Hey, good thing I didn't put that money on New England because, anyway. But yeah, Giants.
You would have been
I would have been very sad. Very sad, boy. I'm still
insane to do so.
So let's go over the Giants game. Of course, I benched Saquon Barkley. I tell people to bench Saquon Barkley because New Orleans, and Barkley just turns into prime Megatron. You'll love to see it. He put up 30-something points. I still won my week, but I don't know how. And so Giants are good. Apparently, when they play New Orleans, Danny Dimes.
Thankful I started Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes being a great fantasy quarterback for me as a free agent pickup.
402 yards and Offensive Player of the Week. I'm just saying, Danny Dimes has not been the Giants' issue this season.
If Danny Dimes doesn't get a second contract from the Giants, I am more than happy to welcome Danny Dimes into Denver for a 3-year contract.
Hey, man, I understand that, but at the same time, you have to admit Teddy Bridgewater has been a lot better. I know he got injured, but man, if he can stay healthy, Broncos I don't know, man. Bridgewater might be that guy. He might. I think Bridgewater
I
is
think
most likely to get a second contract.
I think Danny Dimes can do more than Bridgewater can.
Probably. Probably. I doubt the Giants just let Denny. I see the Giants doing the franchise tag method with Daniel Jones. I think that's most likely what's going to happen. Give him another year. Let him do it 2 years in a row, then pay him or let him go. I think that'll most likely be what happens. But yeah, I mean, New Orleans is frustrating because they beat really good teams and then they just lose to really bad teams, and there's like no in between. They're frustrating because they're actually surprisingly a good team and they just can't.
They play up and down to whoever they're playing.
It's like the Steelers from a few years ago, where they would beat the freaking best team in the league in Kansas City, and the next week
Besides
they would
the
lose.
Patriots.
Yeah, well, there are our sons, so you can't blame them. You can't compare like a dad to their child. That's just not fair. You can't compare, a child. It's just not fair. Anyway, yeah. So, in conclusion, the Giant again, man. Joe Judge is coaching for his life right now. Even though it's not really his fault, he's really got to step up the coaching, and he's got to get his guys motivated. And I think this is a huge win for him, especially in overtime. You were staring 0-4 in the face. So, I don't think they're going to go winning anything. But hey, in the NFC East, anything's possible at this point. So, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Speaking of the Jets.
Zach Wilson. Let's go.
See, I love Zach Wilson, so I should be happy about this. But as someone who is 1-3 currently with New England, and we're the same record as the Jets, that really hurts me in a completely different spot. Yeah. How do you
I'm calling McDonald's because I'm loving it.
I understand they didn't have their top two targets. I get it. 100%. I understand it's really hard to run an offense through just one guy. But it's Derrick Henry. Just give him the ball. And they were doing way too much on offense. It didn't make sense. They were playing way too around it. It was stupid. Just run the ball.
Yeah, Jets got like 7 sacks in that game.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Tennessee was trying to play action, but it wasn't working because who are they going to throw to? I mean, who even is their bet? Isn't it like Adam Humphries is their number one target with both A.J. Brown and Julio out? It's like Adam Humphries?
I think so.
What are you doing? It's frustrating. Anyway, Titans win. Corey Davis is proven to be one of the better free agent signings. Can't believe I'm saying that because I don't think anyone predicted that. He's been good, man. Corey Davis is really working himself. He has no hops still, but he's still going.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Corey Davis could play himself realistically into another. I think he's on a 1-year deal, so he could play himself into a bigger contract if need be. Jets have the cap space.
I wouldn't be mad.
He's been great for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson and him have good chemistry.
I just wish the offensive line had good chemistry.
This was one of the games I actually watched, and I got to watch most of it. And this was frustrating. When are teams going to realize that even with Kansas City's defense being really atrocious, can we stop kicking field goals like on 4th and inches and 4th and 1 versus Kansas City, please? Like, can we stop, please? Because it's really frustrating to think teams can just field goal away at the Chiefs. You can't. Okay, stop. It don't work anymore. Never worked. And also, let Kenneth Gainwell run the freaking ball. Because every time, I don't know if you've noticed, every time you watch the Eagles and Kenneth Gainwell has the ball in his hands, a good thing happens. And they just refuse to play the offense through him. Dude, you have a young technically a rookie quarterback. And you have a scheme that's very young. You have an offense that's explosive with Devonta Smith, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor. Play within your system and let Kenneth Gainwell, your best, in my opinion, your best playmaker at the moment, touch the ball more. And they're just not doing it. It's stupid. Sirianni needs to really just get the ball to your best guy. I know people will say that's Devonta Smith. I would disagree at the moment. I think Kenneth Gainwell has been the most impactful Eagle playmaker, and they just aren't giving him enough snaps. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, but I don't know. why they refuse to give Kenneth Gainwell barely any snaps. It's frustrating me very much. Like the
It,
Bears and Khalil Herbert. Like,
yeah,
come on,
like
guys.
you can never have too much playmaking on a team. You know what I mean? You can never have too much of it. Sorry, my earbud just fell out. So, go. Just let them touch the ball. Also, Kansas City is still good. Sad. Their defense, the defense is not okay. I'm so glad we didn't trade Gilmore to them because I would have really hurt if we would have traded them Gilmore.
Yeah, I would have been really mad too.
But I have a feeling Belichick just wouldn't do that. He traded him to. I like Carolina. Again, I like Carolina, but so
Especially after they just lost JC, but they also gained CJ, so now they have CJ and Gilly.
they're not playing around, dude. I love what Carolina's doing. I love their offseason. I didn't think they would be this aggressive, and I'm all for it. But yeah, Kansas City defense needs to wrap it up. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to do something.
No, they don't need to do anything. They really don't need to do anything. They're fine as is. If anything, they need to lower themselves down a tier on offense. I think
If they can do
that'll get
that
them
without
places.
like Tyreek Hill had 50 points for me this week.
Yeah, that was annoying. That was annoying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny because I look at
I won my game by like 8 points because Tyreek Hill had 50 points.
It's funny because in the league I have Tyreek Hill. I have a really bad team, and the only thing that's carrying me to my 3-1 record is Tyreek Hill just dropping 30 to 50 each game. So yeah, thank you Tyreek Hill. I appreciate it. Please keep doing it. Even
I somehow won. I somehow won that week, my last week, even though I was going against Tyreek Hill. But sheesh, can I have not a close game for once? Can I just be comfortable? A comfortable win for once? Because I am still leading our. I'm 3-1 in our league. I have the most points for, but I also have the most points against. Please, can everyone stop having their best games against me?
that's a no can do. Sorry. Um, so, all right, let's transition to two of the best teams in the league, Arizona Rams. Listen, man, you were correct on the NFC West might having 4 playoff teams. You were on the right track. This is stupid. How good Arizona is. I think everyone expected the Rams to be good. Everyone expected Seattle to be good, even though they've been the one that struggled the most. And everyone's expected the 49ers to take that jump. However, nobody, and I mean nobody, expected Arizona to be 4-0 and the only undefeated team left. Kyler Murray is playing like an MVP. I don't think there's a player beside Murray who I would give MVP to right now. You could argue Brady, but then after Brady's game last week, you can't really do that anymore. You can't really argue with Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins sucks. And you can't really argue with Derek Carr anymore because Carr had a pretty bad game, even though it's against a good defense. You can't really argue that. So it's been amazing for Kyler Murray. He just needs to be consistent to win that MVP, and I think it's something he could do. The only issue really with the Cardinals that I've seen is that their defense is a little shaky at times, but they held the Rams to 20 points, and that's a win. Not many defenses can do that. So I was kind of hoping Gilmore would go to the Cardinals, honestly, because I really like Arizona's chances with Gilmore, even without him. But if they had added Gilmore, it would have been a completely special team. Him and Chandler Jones on the same team is scary. So we'll see. I'm all for it, man. NFC West, I don't have a dog in the fight. I couldn't imagine being a fan of an NFC West team. I would be scared all the time. Couldn't do it. So, hey, good stuff, Arizona.
Yeah, I think I'm only a fan of the Rams right now because of Stafford.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I like everything about all the teams. I like Arizona for Chandler Jones and Kyler Murray. I like the Rams for Stafford, and I like this. I don't like the Seahawks, and I like the 49ers because I have a weak spot for the 49ers sometimes. But I mean, they're fine. They're cool.
I'm okay with the Cardinals and the Rams. The only thing I like about the Seahawks is Russell Wilson. Really.
I feel bad for Russell, man. Cause,
I like nothing about the 49ers except for the fact that now Trey Lance is going to start.
Yeah, because well, I guess this transitions us into the next game because they're right next to each other. Garoppolo has an ankle injury. I think it was a calf injury. So he's probably out. Trey Lance struggled last week. I can't blame him because it was against Seattle, and Pete Carroll knows how to blitz the hell out of rookie quarterbacks. That's kind of well documented. The only thing I have an issue with Trey Lance isn't even really on him. It's the weapons around him. Deebo Samuel has been unreal. He's leading the NFL in receiving yards. But it's the lack of a real number two. Yeah, you have Kittle, but the lack of a real number two field separator is hurting the Niners. I think that's their biggest
And lack
worry.
of a consistent running back.
Yeah. Well, they're all injured. I mean, Trey Sermon is having to start, and he started the season as their fourth running back behind Elijah Mitchell, Mostert, and the third guy, Hasty. So, yeah, it sucks. But I still think the 49ers, if they get even halfway healthy and can get Brandon Ayuk especially onto the field, separating against the secondary and forcing teams to double either him or Deebo or Kittle, that's where San Francisco with Trey Lance is going to shine. Just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And Seattle. Let Russ cook, dude. I'm so sick of watching Seattle. It's frustrating. It sucks.
We gotta run the ball.
I
We
understand.
still have Marshawn Lynch, don't you know?
I love Chris Carson. I know he got injured, but I love Chris Carson. I do. I think he's a great running back. But I do not love him more than DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. I don't. And it's frustrating seeing them try to force Chris Carson down our throats. Stop it. Let him get his 10 carries and 3 catches. Leave him alone. Put him on the sideline, man. Yeah. Hopefully and I hate to say this, but hopefully with him out and Alex Collins, and they realize that they have a top 5 quarterback and 2 questionable top 10 receivers on each side. Play action. Boom.
Yeah.
And they just don't do it. Oh, sorry, I'm getting loud. Anyway. That's another rant. So, yeah, Russell Wilson, though, yeah, just let him cook, man. Let him get his MVP vote. Just one.
Please.
Just one.
one.
Just
the
one
one.
MVP vote. I'll even become a certified NFL journalist just to give him one. Just one. Anyway, I wouldn't become a journalist. That's not me.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I couldn't become a journalist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially with how you write these scripts, yeah.
I know you're not talking. Anyway,
I am talking, yeah.
I don't know what.
I am a much better writer than you.
Okay, moving on.
Yes.
I'll let you have your Denver rant because you're going a little insane. Tell us about Denver.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I'm gonna have to go through it here in a couple minutes, so it's okay. I'm with you on your pain.
Yeah, that was not a pretty game. As soon as Bridgewater went out at the end of the first, I'm like, yeah, we lost. We lost. As soon as we lost Bridgewater, I'm like, we're done. That's no phase of anything played well. Coaching was terrible. Execution was terrible. Everyone seemed out of sync with one another. Should have had an early touchdown to Albert Okwuegbunam, but he dropped it. So that probably killed some momentum, which is never a good thing you want to have. I don't really care about the Ravens getting their record. I could care less about that. I think Fangio being upset about that is just childish, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt on the Broncos rant, but this is something I feel like I have to say. I would if the Ravens had been like up by 20 or 30, I could almost understand his sentiment, right? However, with 2 minutes left, Broncos had 3 timeouts. Obviously, we're not winning the game, and they used all 3 timeouts and tried to score. By doing that, you're opening yourself up to the Ravens going for that record. If you had just put the ball on the ground or done safe screens, guess what? They don't have 100 yards rushing. So Vic Fangio blaming them for his decision is just stupid. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt, but it was. I saw that and I laughed because it's the most boomer thing I've ever seen. Grow up, dude. Anyway.
Yeah, Drew Lock came in. He looked like Drew Lock, which is honestly, I don't think I've ever hated watching a quarterback play more than I hate watching Drew Lock play quarterback. And that's saying something. Like, I take Trevor Siemian again over Drew Lock. It's like the first play, Drew Lock came in, he got sacked, and I just see him. Edge rusher beats Garrett Bowles on the edge, and Drew Lock's just sitting there like this. No pocket awareness whatsoever. He's just sitting there, sack. It's like, come on, man. What are you doing? And Drew Lock is like, is saying his arm strength is good. He has a really good arm. That's true. But it doesn't matter when you constantly overthrow your deep balls and never hit a single one of them. What's the point of having such a big arm if you can't connect on deep balls? Honestly, it boggles my mind. Uh, so yeah, Drew Lock's probably done in Denver. I'm not gonna say thankfully, but I want to say thankfully.
Possibly done in the league, honestly, at this point.
No, he'll probably get another chance just because he was a second round pick, borderline first for some teams. Um, Broncos signed Avery Williamson, which I don't really, I guess, linebacker depth, I guess, because Josie Jewell's out for the season. I still want to see Justin Strnad because he played well. So hopefully this isn't Justin Strnad getting knocked down on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is just depth. Injury bug has stricken us for another season in a row. I think it's time to start looking at the strength and conditioning coaches because most of them are soft tissue injuries for the most part, besides Judy's almost freak injury. Positive note, Javonte Williams leads the NFL in forced missed tackles according to PFF. So there's a positive. Especially that one run that he had against the Ravens.
Dude, that was...
where he carried. That was awesome. I love that so much.
That was cool. Yeah,
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Javonte. Thank you for giving me something to be happy about from this game.
Yeah.
Caden Stearns is good. Pretends to be shocked. I totally didn't call that and haven't been calling that. Teddy was limited in practice on Thursday. He was first practice back, so he may be able to start on Sunday against Pittsburgh, and we won't have to see Drew Lock. In Denver, we might have both of our starting guards, Dalton Reisner and Graham Glasgow, back for Pittsburgh because they practice as well. However, Albert Okwuegbunam will most likely miss Sunday's game due to a hamstring injury suffered yesterday's practice.
Jesus. Yeah, that's rough, man. I feel bad for Denver because they're just getting hit with the injury bug again. It's like last season all over again. Didn't Surtain get benched or was it an injury?
I think it was probably a little bit. Well, he might have been playing bad because of his chest, but I'll just say both. But he has a chest injury, and also we're still out Ronald Darby as well, and we're also out Michael Ojemudia as well. He got injured during practice.
Yeah, that's it.
So 3 corners are down again.
The Denver special. Yeah, that's tough, man. Yeah, I honestly feel bad. And the thing with Drew Lock, we don't want to harp on him because we've made fun of Drew Lock for so long.
He's probably a great dude. As an NFL quarterback, I can't stand to watch him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I think the thing with Drew Lock, and I think the thing that's really hurt him this year, isn't his lack of development. That hurts, obviously. But I think what's really hurt him is that he lost the confidence in the locker room. I mean, you're seeing all of the comments you're seeing from, like, Von Miller when he was talking to Teddy B after the first win. We haven't had that in the building since Peyton Manning. Things like that, I think, really hurt Drew Lock. And I think his confidence is just not there. And like you said, there's no point in having all the tools if you don't have the confidence with it. So it sucks because you want everyone to succeed and you want a guy like Drew Lock to be good with the potential, but it's just never going to be there, I don't think. That sucks.
Yeah. And you see him just reverting back to like things that he always did wrong with never stepping back in the pocket and just like drifting around and throwing off his back foot. It's like, come on, man. It's been 3-4 years now. Come on.
Yeah. So it sucks. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. I feel bad because Ben Roethlisberger shouldn't be on an NFL field anymore, and I hate it because you can
that
say
Steelers offensive line should be on an NFL field either.
No, they're traffic cones. they're turnstiles, of course, but I feel bad because Roethlisberger, as much as you can say his character sucks, and I agree with you, and as much as you want to say about anything else about Big Red, He is undoubtedly one of the better quarterbacks we've seen in the NFL. And to see him just suck now, he's worse than what Breeze was last year. At least Breeze could get his team to win. He can't. Roethlisberger just doesn't have it anymore, and it sucks. It sucks seeing old talent like that just fade away, especially unceremoniously. I think they should start Haskins personally. If I'm Pittsburgh, I throw Haskins in. What's the worst that could happen? You're in a competitive division where even Cincinnati looks like a competent NFL team. You have to build for the future. You got to get your quarterback of the future ready, and that's obviously not Mason Rudolph. Get Haskins in there. Get him some reps. Let him see an NFL defense again. And if he sinks, you got Roethlisberger, Rudolph in the back. I just think Roethlisberger should do, in my opinion, what's best for the team and take a step back.
Yeah. Roethlisberger is just... He's fallen off a cliff hard.
Okay, caller. But, so...
Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff anytime now,
Hey, man. Eventually he'll be right in another decade. But, yeah, so it sucks for Roethlisberger. But we'll see. Maybe he'll start getting some of the send-away games. But it also sucks as a person who owns both Najee Harris and Chase Claypool in fantasy. I digress. Moving on. Green Bay is still good. Surprising.
That's why you only own defensive starters for Pittsburgh.
Oh, would you like to also, by the way, Green Bay, the front office for Green Bay is just shining example of incompetence. They didn't even try to go after Gilmore. That's tough, dude.
But rookie Eric Stokes and an injured Jair Alexander.
And yeah, pretty much. Eric Stokes, man, I mean, he's trying his best, but he's definitely not there yet. So
doesn't help that he has no help either.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't help also that the pass rush is starting to weather. The interior, the defensive line is getting a little suspect. Kenny Clark's good, but he can only do so much. And the linebacking core is... Anyway, yeah. Green Bay's suspect, man. They're suspect still. But it's Green Bay, and they always find BS ways to win, so...
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Here's your rant.
All right. Let's get through this. So, New England, of course, couldn't just let us lose. No, that's too easy. See, we made a contract with the devil, and the devil doesn't like to do things boring. He doesn't like to just take things slow. Nah. He likes to give you false hope and then just... New England Patriots got Brady'd. It's that simple. I could talk a whole game about... Here's what I'll say. I can condense this. Mac Jones is not the issue. You're going to see a lot of Cam Newton fans. You're going to see a lot of Belichick haters. Dov, especially, man. The man was having the time of his life. And a few other guys that are just going to blame Mac Jones and then everything he does. And the truth of the matter is he went out there on Sunday Night Football in Foxborough with the hero coming back and played better than Brady. So I was wrong on Mac. I will admit it. I ain't afraid. I'll eat the crow. You could play the clip of me freaking out when we drafted Mac. Who cares?
Freaking out.
Yeah. I think I just crumbled. I was wrong. He's great. He still has a lot to work on. I'm not saying he's perfect. But he put the team in a position to win, and frankly, the person who took it out of his hands is Belichick. Awful coaching decision to kick a field goal, 56-yarder with an injured kicker in sleet. He wasn't going to hit it. Everyone knew it, and Nick Folk almost made it. No, he didn't. That thing was not going to go in. So it sucks.
It would have been a folk tale if he did.
And even if he hit it, we would have given Brady the ball back with 40 seconds and I think 2 timeouts. He probably would have driven down and got a field goal anyway, so it doesn't really matter. However, I still think Mac Jones played well. You're going to see the media have a day with it. They're going to look at his air yardage and go, only 7 or 6 air yards per attempt. He sucks. And they mentioned to throw that, we don't have any receivers to get open down the field. And the offensive line is injured. The only thing I'll say, and this will be my last thing on it, there's a lot of things New England needs to fix. Play calling is huge. McDaniels is struggling. Let Jacoby Myers play more quarterback. Let him get in the backfield. He's a better quarterback at this point than he is receiver. I love the guy, by the way. No disrespect, Jacoby. You're just a great quarterback. And finally, my last thing on the thing is, can we get Skarnecki back? I know he's retired for the second time. Can we just, like... we'll even put a wheelchair out there. We'll give him, like, coffee table. Give him his own coat. Give him his own tent. Just, can we get him back? Because the offensive line sucks right now. It sucks. So, yeah, we lost. We got gut punched. But I'm feeling good about the 1-3 Patriots. Just because I know Mac Jones has every tool to be a good NFL quarterback, which I wasn't expecting. I was wrong. A lot of people were wrong on that, so I'll take it. I'm happy with it. So it still sucks that we lost that way, but I still think we'll be good in the long run. Hey, we're not going to make playoffs, but don't count us out for winning a few upset games this year. That's all I'm saying. I do fear the Chargers, though. That Chargers game is going to
Thank you, Chargers.
I fear the Chargers.
Thank you, Chargers.
Yeah, and let's
Thank you,
go.
Chargers.
So let's go away from my Patriots rant because I could rant about that longer. But I was nice.
Thank you, Chargers.
Chargers are legit, man. This was their first real test.
Thank you.
You could say the Kansas City game was the first real test, but I think this was the first test of the defense in a primetime environment. The defense went lights out. The offense played exceptionally. Justin Herbert is a superstar. I think you can officially put him in that superstar category. If you had any doubts before this week, I think they're gone. I think there's he has like the quickest quarterback to like a certain amount of 300-yard touchdowns, 300 yards, 3 TDs, and no interception games. He had it like in 19 games, and he has like 6 or 7 of those games. Freak. The only thing about Herbert that you could say is that, well, he doesn't have more passing yards. And if that's the only critique, damn good quarterback. So I'm happy with it. But the play of the week came from the losing side. Hunter Renfrow. I wouldn't call it play of the week. I would call it play of the year. I'm a nerd for special teams. I love special teams. It's one of my favorite parts of the game because it's just, no one talks about it. That play I put that in the Hall of Fame, dude. Just put it in the Hall of Fame because for anyone who didn't know, Chargers were punting and they had their full 11-man team. And there was nobody lined up on the left gunner. Nobody. And the Raiders didn't even realize it. There was 10 guys on the field. Nobody recognized it except for the punt return. So Hunter Renfrow starts creeping up, gets about 15 yards away, and just does a dead sprint as the ball is snapped. And he makes a perfect form tackle, forces the incompletion, and the Raiders get some good field position. Of course, they don't capitalize off it. But that is a Hall of Fame caliber play. I'm a nerd for that stuff, and that's my. At the end of the year, that'll be my play of the year candidate, just because that's beautiful. It's art. So, but yeah, LA is good. In conclusion,
now there's a 3-way tie for first place in the AFC West, and the Raiders are not all alone up at 4-0, thankfully.
Imagine saying that at the beginning of the season, but then saying, "Oh, by the way, the 3 teams that are tied doesn't include Kansas City." You'd probably just be sitting there like. Yeah, okay.
I'd be confused, but I'd be happy. And I'm happy.
Yeah, I would be too. Anyway, we are. I can't believe we're 1-3. Anyway, moving on.
I know, right? You should be 1-4.
Yeah, true. Well, if we had Cam Newton, we would magically be 3-1, despite it not making sense. Anyway, I digress. So, college player of the week.
Oh, did you want me to do mine first?
Yeah. That's normally how we do it.
Okay. Well, I have 2 players. Only one other time I've done this, but they're not on the same team for once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this one, I'm doing a corner and a quarterback.
Ooh.
So I'm going to go with the corner first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Caleb Evans, the corner from Missouri. It's redshirt senior, 6'2", 198 pounds. He's just transferred from Tulsa, actually, to Mizzou this past season. So, and he was a 2-star prospect coming out, so you can automatically see that this dude is a hard worker. He went from a 2-star prospect from Tulsa, finally transferring to Mizzou to where he'll get some tough opponents in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
This dude, he obviously has the build of a prototypical franchise corner. Um, he can do everything. He's long, fluid, he's physical. Um, wait, where'd it go? Oh, I lost my notes. Okay, there they are. He can basically do everything. Man coverage, he's good. Zone coverage, he's good. Even shallow or in deep zone, he's good. Um, he can disrupt timing. He punches at the line of scrimmage really well. He's just an extremely solid corner with great size. Um, the only thing that maybe you could bang him on is his tackling, which isn't bad at all. Um, he it's his first year playing out Missouri, so lack of competition, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
And also that he only has one interception in his career, and it just came during this season so far. So he's not really a ball hawk type of player, but he's just more of your prototypical lockdown dude. So I think he can be a great player. He's absolutely phenomenal at pretty much everything, except for getting turnovers, which I don't really mind. I'm after dealing with Chris Harris Jr. for so long as a shutdown corner, getting absolutely like no interceptions whatsoever during his career with Denver. I am more than happy to say that I really like a Caleb Evans. He's currently projected as a second round pick. I have him rated as a first round pick,
Yeah.
and that's something really good for a redshirt senior who just transferred to the SEC as a 2-star prospect coming out of high school.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the quarterback will be the quarterback from Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett. Also a redshirt senior, 6'2", 225 pounds. He's the only Pitt quarterback to throw for more than 400 yards in a game more than once.
Damn.
Yeah. And he also enters this season with 5 fourth-quarter comebacks. He is extremely competitive and tough and has flashed the clutch gene many times during his career thus far. Good size. Obviously, maybe some people would like to hark on his height, John Elway. But no, 6'2" is more than enough to get the job done. He has enough mobility to extend the plays and scramble. Good movement, and he keeps his eyes downfield, which I really like when quarterbacks scramble. The main thing I look for is, do they keep their eyes downfield or do they just look to run? And he keeps his eyes downfield. Um, he gives his targets really good chances to make plays in one-on-one man coverage, um, to put the ball in great positions for the receiver to have leverage. His arm strength isn't great, but it's good. It's good enough to get the job done, whatever you need to be called on to do. Um, and he understands how to vary his drops, and he has a gunslinger mentality, but he doesn't commit too many turnovers,
Oh, wow.
which is always a good thing. Um, his main things is that his ball placement is a bit inconsistent. Uh, he sends the ball a bit high at times, a bit too high. Um, his arm strength again is only good, and sometimes he's overconfident in his arm strength. Um, and he has some lapses in recognition in terms of pressure packages and like post snap changes to secondary coverage.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's more something you could like really develop and teach him. I actually really like this dude. He's projected as about fourth round pick right now. I could see him jumping up to a second round pick.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
with a good season.
I've heard his name starting to float around a little bit more this season. Okay. Fantasy of the week. I am obviously the fantasy expert. I am 6-0 my last 3 weeks. Don't ask about week 1. So I'm going to go over some interesting matchups, and then I'll go over my 2 players of the week. Coincidentally, both are in the same game. But let's go. Obviously, your guy, I'm not going to say you should start DK Metcalf Cooper Kupp, because frankly, everyone knows it. A couple interesting starts. Kendrick Bourne has really developed a chemistry with Mac Jones, and they're playing the Houston Texans. I know New England's not the best team right now, but they're the Houston Texans. So any Patriot skill player, you should go for it. Another interesting matchup that I think is going to produce a lot of fantasy points. Not on the offensive, though. I think it's the Steelers-Broncos. I think you're going to see a lot of defensive points. If you play in individual defensive player leagues, like me and Brennan this year, or even if you're just playing in team leagues, I think both defenses are primed for big games. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, personally, especially if Locke's playing. And then the final game that I think is going to produce some interesting fantasy matchups before I get to the one is Browns-Chargers. Now, originally you think with the Chargers defense, there's not going to be a lot of potential points, but the Browns are going to have to run the ball, especially if Baker Mayfield's out. So I'm thinking, honestly, if they start Case Keenum, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and even a guy like Odell Beckham, who's going to really participate in the short passing game, is going to have a good game against the LA defense, regardless of them being really good. But there's one matchup that is going to produce some fantasy points this week, if nothing else. And that's Jets-Falcons. Not many people are going to be watching this game because, frankly, 2-1-3 teams that suck. Not going to draw a lot of ratings. But you have two guys specifically that are going to go off. Corey Davis is going to have another good game versus Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't really have a corner. They don't really have a defense. They're just absent. So Corey Davis, I think, is a guy who could potentially get you 25 points. Especially for a guy who normally probably averages 13 to 14. That's really good. And then the other guy who has yet to have that breakout fantasy performance is Kyle Pitts. However, Calvin Ridley is out with this game. So Matt Ryan's last real target is down. So you're taking your only snaps that are really going to fight for Kyle Pitts is a guy like Russell Gage or Quentin. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try. The slot receiver, number 17. Those are the only two guys. So Kyle Pitts, Corey Davis, start them in your fantasy leagues. I don't have either or, sadly, but if I would start them. So those are the two fantasy players of the week for me. Yeah. Fantasies.
I'm currently starting 5 defensive players from that Pittsburgh-Denver game. I have Draymond Jones, Von Miller, T.J. Watt, Justin Simmons, and Mika Fitzpatrick.
Can't blame you. Yeah, it's gonna be like a 17-13 type game. Probably Broncos will probably end up winning, but. So
that'd be nice.
That was the end of week 4. I loved it. It was a good game, good week. Before we head out, do you want to do our games of the week real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I went first last week.
I want to say Rams Seahawks, but that feels like really like a gimme, and I don't want to be a gimme. So I'm going to go to a game that I think has the potential to either be really entertaining or an absolute dumpster fire. So of course I'm going to pick it for game of the week. And for me, that is going to be Lions-Vikings. Both teams, you have the Lions who are atrocious, like we said earlier. And you have the Vikings who are the king of empty stats. So you're going to meet these two unstoppable forces are going to meet. Something's going to break. And I think this is going to be the week that Dan Campbell's obscure coaching style is the key. It's going to be an entertaining game, a lot of points, no defense. I'm saying 34-31 Lions. Upset of the week, and it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. Again, like you said, we easily go Rams Seahawks. Could also easily go Niners Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with an upset of the week. And that's going to be the Bengals at home against the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, my God. That would be beautiful. I'm all for it.
That's going to be my game of the week.
I'm all for it. That'd be beautiful. What do you think score's going to be looking like?
I'll go Bengals 27, Packers 17.
That'd be nice. I'm all for it. Let it happen. So that ends episode 41. I don't know if we said it was episode 40 last week, but it was 40 episodes. Creeping up on 50. We're going to hit it this season. That should be awesome.
We're going to do anything special for 50?
We have to do something. I don't know what. Maybe we should live stream reaction a game. Something like that would be kind of cool. Something like that. We'll see. I'd be all for it. So thank you guys again. Thank you.
And then you just be watching two guys who absolutely never illegally live stream a game of the NFL.
Oh, that's true. And also shout out to Roberto, my boy. He's in here with us. And he said Cordell Patterson is he's right. Cordell Patterson, if you guys didn't know, he's actually the number 2 fantasy running back in the league at the moment. Weird stat. You're right. Cordell Patterson is going to steal some of those Kyle Pitts snaps. I hope he doesn't, but you're right, Roberto. And lastly, yes, Atlanta doesn't count as a team. You're right. So thank you again for showing up, and thank you. Hopefully I wasn't too loud. I try not to be, but if I do sometimes, I'm really sorry. Not. So we'll see y'all next
Well,
week.
you're not even. Why do you keep saying that? You're not in your apartment.
Well, I don't know. Apparently they know how to get to my stuff, so I have to make sure to be quiet at the appropriate hours. So I'm very sorry.
3 p.m.
Please-
the appropriate nighttime bedtime hours.
Please don't ban me. Anyway, don't leave comments on my YouTube. Anyway. So we'll see you guys next week on the Stack and Shed podcast. Loud boys.